So the option of creating a side-by-side bar chart is present here in the Show Me tab, and this is basically an option. So last option in the third row. So for side-by-side bar, in the end, as you can see, it needs one or more dimension and one or more measures. So it requires at least 3 fields. So let's try creating it with the help of 2 dimension. So let's say we select region and product subcategory, and we want sales, right? Once we have selected this, we go to Show Me and click over here. And here we have the side-by-side bar chart. So currently, how you can read it, that within the central, these are the different product subcategories, and accordingly the bars, these are the bars based on their sales. Same is the case in east, west, and south. If you want to swap this information to from the look and feel perspective, you can click over here, and now you can, I think, read it much better, because pretty much all the product subcategories are coming. And if you want to sort it, let's say in the descending manner, so you can click over here, and it shows descending in a descending way. So with that, that's how it's simple or quick and easy for creating a side-by-side bar chart. Another thing is that currently on the color card, you have a subcategory as the product subcategory as the colors information, as it is coming over here. You can remove that, and if you have any other details in the mind, let's say for example from a profit perspective, you want to color your bars, then you can do that. So it's not really mandatory that you should have whatever is pre-configured for you. And as you can see, it is starting from minimum to maximum, and accordingly your bar chart is basically colored. Similarly, if you have let's say want to show the labels, so you can put sales over here and you get the labels information. And yeah, pretty much, again, size I have shown in my previous videos. You can change the size by just dropping the value over the size card, and here based on the size you can see where you are giving the most discount. So here in this case, binders is having more discount, followed by phones here in the east region, and in central, after binders, it is more of a furnishing, which is getting a huge discount. So that's how you can really modify and make it more visually intuitive and useful for your end user. So that's a quick side-by-side bar chart I wanted to show you in this video, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic. So the option of creating a side-by-side bar chart is present here in the Show Me tab, and this is basically an option. So last option in the third row. So for side-by-side bar, in the end, as you can see, it needs one or more dimension and one or more measures. So it requires at least 3 fields. So let's try creating it with the help of 2 dimension. So let's say we select region and product subcategory, and we want sales, right? Once we have selected this, we go to Show Me and click over here. And here we have the side-by-side bar chart. So currently, how you can read it, that within the central, these are the different product subcategories, and accordingly the bars, these are the bars based on their sales. Same is the case in east, west, and south. If you want to swap this information to from the look and feel perspective, you can click over here, and now you can, I think, read it much better, because pretty much all the product subcategories are coming. And if you want to sort it, let's say in the descending manner, so you can click over here, and it shows descending in a descending way. So with that, that's how it's simple or quick and easy for creating a side-by-side bar chart. Another thing is that currently on the color card you have subcategory as the product subcategory as the colors information as it is coming over here. You can remove that, and if you have any other details in the mind, let's say for example from a profit perspective you want to color your bars, then you can do that. So it's not really mandatory that you should have whatever is pre-configured for you. And as you can see, it is starting from minimum to maximum, and accordingly your bar chart is basically colored. Similarly, if you have let's say want to show the labels, so you can put sales over here and you get the labels information. And yeah, pretty much, again, size I have shown in my previous videos. You can change the size by just going to dropping the value over the size card, and here based on the size you can see where you are giving the most discount. So here in this case binders is giving is having more discount, followed by phones here in the east region, and in central after binders it is more of a furnishing which is getting a huge discount. So that's how you can really modify and make it more visually intuitive and useful for your end user. So that's a quick side-by-side bar chart I wanted to show you in this video, and I will meet you in the new video, the new topic. And I'm using the Superstore sample sheet which comes with Tableau 10, and I'm using the sample Superstore data set which is given, and the idea is to create the stack bar chart. Alright, so for that let's select at least one measure and one dimension. So like always, let me select in this case category sales, and let's create it. So here in this case we just have, since we have selected the stack bar chart, it has created one stack bar chart. What we can do is we can have multiple stack, generally how it comes by, let's say, regions. So in columns I can put regions, and now we have a proper stack bar chart. If we want by state, then we can remove this and select to have it by states, and we can see in each of these states how these different categories of products are getting sold and get an idea about it. Now apart from this, what you can do is basically showing the label. So let's say here in this case sum of sales is what you have already taken. So if you want to display the same information, you can display by putting it on the labels. And if you want to do a little bit of customization into the labels, you can go into labels, and you have the information to, or the option to change the sum of sales to text to font and alignment, marks to label all, or selected, highlighted, all of that thing. And apart from this, one of the very interesting thing is you can also control the size of these bars. So what you can do is you can just take the profit as a measure and drag it on the drag it on the size. And it is not, I would say, a very perfect or a better, but somehow I find it little intuitive in which category I have the most profit. So here in this case, in case of office supplies, I have the most profitable, or as a most profitable category, and here in case of New York, technology is most profitable one. So it's kind of as I said, not the visualization you would like to use to put it on the side, but sometimes it can be really helpful to just get an idea. Oh, that's the most profitable category, or that's where we are giving the most discount. So you have these tags, you have the information about sales and everything, and when you are putting the perspective of size, it really makes sometimes a lot of sense to show it to your management, because that's kind of a new chart altogether that you have created. Because apart from stack and normal bar chart, you are actually taking size also into consideration based on the profit. And for that, you don't really have to do a lot of math in your head, and it's become intuitive. Okay, that's where my problems or the good area are, and the action that I need to take. So that's how you can customize your stack bar chart and make it meaningful for your end users. And that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Let's go ahead and see the table in action. So here is the simple text table that is present within the Tableau. So what we can do is, maybe simply I'll just select sales and select the regions, for example, and within the show me say text table. So here I have the sales by each region. Very simple, there is nothing interesting, but let's go ahead and make it a pivot. So maybe by product subcategory I want to change it. So this information is showing us the subcategory. If you want to swap it so that a better representation is coming, we can do this by clicking over here, swap rows and columns, or pressing Ctrl W as a shortcut. So once we click here, I think it is a much better representation of information, and that basically helps us, these experiments help us realizing which way is really good to show the metric. Now let's try enhancing it with the help of the colors card. So maybe we want to see this information conditionally formatted, like how we do it in Microsoft Excel, wherever there is a good value or the negative value or the less value, we want to show it conditionally or conditionally colored. So for example, profit, I put it on the color, and as you can see, if I show you over here, the negative one generally indicates is the less or the problematic area where you have the less sales. So here in this case, it is very much apparent that it is solid red, and your profit is really low over here or negative here, and as compared to the blue like this. So copiers within the central region is really the profitable one. Same is the case with West. So very intuitively you can get the details about where you are doing a good profit or not. You can change it to anything else like discount, just drag and drop, and you can get the information about where you are giving the very good discount. So for example, in the binders, in each region you are giving good discount. So that means this is a category which I think is struggling, and that's why probably salesperson has to do or give a lot of discount. So that's how you can very easily and very quickly create the tables, the text tables within the Tableau. Couple of other things that you generally want to do is adding sections. So let's say within the subcategory you want to add product name, so in that case you just have to add the product name. Probably you can say add all members, because there are like lot of members, so that's why if warning was given to you. I just selected I want to add all the members, and if I want to add category, I can add category before the subcategory to make it more sense that in each of the category what are the subcategories, related subcategories. So very easily I can do that by just keep on dragging the information. If I want let's say profit also here as sum of profit, I can add it, but I need to add it to a text. So in that case, there are basically two rows. One is indicating the sales, another indicating is the profit, but not very intuitive. So in that case, it's not really useful. You go ahead and show both the dimensions. So that's how very easily and quickly you can create the text tables, the pivot tables, and modify it as per your needs. And here we want to create the highlight tables. So as you can see down there, for highlight tables you need one or more dimension and one measure. Alright, so let's select a very simple one, sales and product subcategory, and let's try to create it. And if you see, it's very intuitive by looking at this sum of sales range, that range with the darker side is having the more sales and lighter side is having less sales. And as you can see, art and fasteners and labels are having less sales, whereas chairs and phones are having more sales. Now this information is good, but we can make it better by, let's say, adding state, and we can add it over here like this, and here we have a much better information of information, and we can, for better representation, we can change it to this like this, and now I think pretty much every information is coming within a single page, and you can scroll up and down a little bit to look at the information, and information, as you can see, is highlighted based on the cross section of the data, and which is making it an impactful visualization and a table to see. And apart from this, you have the option of removing the color from sales, or you can remove the range from sales to something else. So let's say we want it to be by maybe profit. So once we do that, here we have profit, and it indicates where the profit is less by having this orange side of color like this, and blue is basically indicate a good profit like this, 43184 machines in New York. So that really helps identifying what's really going on with our visualization, and help us take the quick decision based on the information that is present over here. And apart from this, there is nothing much that I can show, but there are always some parameters, filters and other things that you can set and make the table more meaningful. Apart from this, you can change the palette from this particular color to some other color based on your need or organizational needs or color needs about how you want to show the negative profit and positive profit, by simply going into the colors, go to edit colors and select the palette, maybe green to gold, and click OK, and you can see the information in a different way if that's how you want to see it. So you can change the properties as you wish, but that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. So idea is that how we can create the bubble chart. So for that we need to select at least one dimension and one measure, and let's say we select region and sales, which will show us in which region we are doing more sales, and we open this show me palette and we select this bubble chart. So requirement is for bubble chart one or more dimension, one or two measures. So we have selected the minimum requirement, which is one dimension, one measure. Let's go ahead and create it, and very easily you can see that you have central, east, south and west, these four basically regions there. Now let's try to make it little or adjust it a little bit. So for example, region is good, but let's say we want to expand it and we want to use the state. So I will just expand it over, click over here, as it is part of a hierarchy which has been created previously. So that I can use it like this, or I can simply remove this entire piece, and suppose I don't have the hierarchy, I can just go ahead and select this state as a color and remove country to that, and here I have the information. Now if you hover your mouse over to the bubbles, you can get the state name and sales, but let's say you want to get the state name over the bubbles, then you can get it like just dragging the state on the label. Similarly, if you want sales information on the label, you can get it. But let's say you are getting already state and sales information here, and you want to get the probably profit on displayed on this bubbles, then you can get profit along with the sales, and within the tooltip you are getting the information about this particular piece. Now the thing is, state is basically a third level hierarchy. You have country, region, and then state. So what you can do is probably you can make region as a filter and try selecting it. So I've just dragged the region from this palette to filters card, and I can select central, let's say for example, and click OK. And here now I have much more better filtered information. Let's say I want to change it. Just go there and edit filter, and I can select east and remove this and click OK. So that's how very easily I can, further drill down if let's say for example all of this is a kind of a cluttered and a lot of information present to me. I can filter it down with the help of the filters which are given to us. There is a lot of information, a lot of tuning that you can do, which is about sorting and changing the labels and all that sort of stuff, which probably I will tell you in the upcoming videos more when the situation will arrive. But the basic idea for this video is to how to create it first of all, and then adjusting its properties a little bit. The last thing I would like to cover is basically the bubble size. Currently it is shown by here sum of sales, but if you want something else, let's say sum of quantity, or maybe profit or discount earlier that we had, where we are giving the more discount, we can get it like this, and that shows us where we are giving more discount and accordingly the profit is coming. And you can get your bubble chart adjusted the way you want according to your requirement, or you can play around with it and see which one is fitting your requirement better. So that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in the quick video about how you can create and adjust a bubble chart, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. So tree map is again a very useful addition where basically you need one or more dimension as mentioned over here down there, if you can see, and one or two measures. And if you have a lot of data points which needs to be interpreted, or it's very hard to interpret them in a table, you can basically make use of tree maps to clearly show it to your management about how the things are really doing within those data points. Alright, let's go ahead and select state and sales, a very basic example, and let's create a tree map. Alright, as you can see very clearly, sum of sales is indicating that where you are doing the maximum and where you are doing the minimum, and accordingly a size has been given to each of the sections. So California has been given with the maximum size because it has the maximum sales, and then at the end you have North Dakota, which has the sales just $9.20 as it is mentioned. So by default it has created the space for each of these states. It has chosen the color based on the sum of sales, and it has taken the range based on the range provided there in the sales field. Alright, let's do some adjustment. Maybe we want to see the colors changing not based on sales but based on profit. Alright, let's see it. So where we are doing the maximum and minimum, so for sure sales is really high in Texas but very less profit, so it's altogether a different interpretation from the same data and same visualization. And same is the case with Pennsylvania. So whenever you are building your story, you can obviously show the maximum sales which is going on, but with the help of the profit, you can show how your different states are really doing from the perspective of profit, which gives a different flavor to your audience. Apart from this, you can play around and see the colors by discount. And now again, because the profit was less, now it is very clear that because we are giving a lot of discount within the taxes, maybe that's the reason your profit is really less. Same is the case with Pennsylvania. All of those states where profit was less, that means the discount was really high. So that's how you can easily build up your tree map and show your stories by changing the visualization and making it more meaningful for your end users. The next thing I want to discuss is let's say labels. So for example, if I want to show profit as a label, and now you have the perspective of sales, discount as well as profit. And if you want to show some other numbers, let's say maybe quantity, what you can do is put quantity over here. So based on that, you can keep on adding and basically show multiple measures. But I would suggest, as a rule of thumb, to not show more than 2 or 3 at the max, because it will be really hard for your end user to first of all see that how your chart is displayed, that means based on sales, and then the colors, which is based on profit, then the discount, then the profit, then the quantity, and all of that thing. That means the end user's mind will have to do a lot of work. However, visualization are meant for very intuitive information. You are just seeing it and damn, you just get the idea what I'm really doing right or what I'm really doing wrong within my business area and where I need to really focus on. So I will just remove, let's say, quantity. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Alright, with these 3 information, I think that should be sufficient for my chart, and my chart is good to go. So that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Let's see the heat map. So this is basically the second option that you have in the Show Me palette. It's basically the heat map. And heat map, as it is mentioned in the bottom, that for heat maps you need to try 1 or more dimension and 1 or 2 measures. Alright, so let's try with that. First select for example product subcategory, as it has good number of values, and let's select sales, and let's select product subcategory by region probably, or at the max, because region has around 3 or 4 values. So let's select the state. I'll just uncheck the region. Alright, let's go ahead and see it. Alright, something is messed up here. So what I can do is I can remove this, and first of all I can select sales and sub product category and drag it down over here and change it to heat map. Alright, now better. I have much better control, and I can now move the state to here in the columns. Alright, good picture, but not very easily interpretable. So I can swap the row and columns, and now I get a much better picture about the heat map. So which indicates where I'm making the more sales compared to the less sales and all of that based on the product subcategory and state. And I can sort it by sort the information to better see it. So sorting in the descending way. Here, based on the descending, I got this information, which is much better than how it was shown in the last visual. Alright, once we are here, we want to make it a little bit more intuitive. So we are showing the sum of sales for each state and subcategory within the heat map, and we want to make it much more impactful by adding, let's say, profit to the color. Once we add this, it indicates where we are getting where we are in negative in terms of profit and where we are having the more profit. So here in this case, tables are not very profitable in California, but accessories are like very much profitable. So very intuitively you can get with just looking at 5 seconds to it, you can get to know how each of these categories are really doing and pinpoint to the visualization. So apart from profit, putting it on the color card, what you can do is you can even look at the product categories and see it with a twist. So what you can do is category, put it on the color, and now you can see in each of these sub product categories in these states how your different categories are really moving ahead. So for example, chairs is basically related to this furniture and office and technology. So it's basically giving you an indication that based on the categories you have, how they are really performing in each of the states by putting it as a categorization filter, which is intuitive enough to tell you where you are having the maximum sales based on the category of the product. So that's how you can use both measure as well as the dimension to put it on the color card. Apart from this, what you also have is the size. So as we have seen previously in the videos, you can put the measure on the size to really see how the sales are really coming together. So pretty much we can see that profit is good in certain cases. Here in this case, office supplies, but it's not very intuitive, or somebody would just look at it and make out a decision. No, that's not probably it is. So let's take it back, and so there is something messed up with our visualization. So I would say sum of sales to the size. Alright, we are back to the normal visualization, and let's try with discount, replacing the sum of sales to this, and now we have comparatively better picturization of how the information is for the discount base for these subcategories and state and these categories of the products that we have. So ideally, for this video perspective, I have shown you the different ways, but I would just suggest that if you are using 2-dimension, adding the third dimension would add a lot of complexity and interpretation becomes a little bit difficult. So I would suggest just use the 2-dimension and use the measures like so for example, so this discount and as a color and sum of sales as a size to have a better representation and better interpretability of the data, so that somebody is just looking at it and within just 5 or 10 seconds they can make it out what you are really trying to show in the visualization. So having 2 categories would be fine. Having a third category would add a complexity. So if somebody at an analyst level is seeing it, it should be okay, because somebody may want to find trying to figure out the findings from the data and write it as a part of commentary. But if somebody at an executive level or higher level, they just want to look at the picture, which is very simple and can give an idea within very quickly, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, okay, where the problems are and where we need to focus. So I would suggest use 2 categories and then use measures to really show, okay, here you are having the more discount and but the good sales, less sales and more discount, or here you have the more sales but less discount. So probably the problematic area is this. We may need to focus it over here, what is really going on. So that's all from the heat map introduction video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Alright, so here we have the bullet chart, and for that we need 0 or more dimension and at least 2 measures. So let's first select 2 measures. So we have sales forecast and sales, and let's create it. Alright, so here we have the sum of sales as a tick over here, and forecast is basically crossing this. So generally that's not how we want. What we usually want is that this tick should be target, or here in this case forecast, and it should be sales. So let's try to replace this, put sum of sales over here, sum of forecast on detail as it was there. But in that case the properties are a little bit messed up. So what we can do is we can go here, right click, go to add reference line, and for value what we can do is sum of sales forecast per cell and make it a sum. Alright, and label, let's make it none. And click OK. Alright, so here we have the label of sum of sales forecast, And with that, if we want, so this is like for overall values, the total values which are present here in the data set. But if we want, we can add a product category, let's say here. And now for each of the product category, you have the sales and you have the sales forecast, or basically a goal that you have it in the form of a forecast, and it is showing you which are very near to achieve their target and which are very far. Let's say here in this case is really far to achieve their target. So that sometimes helps us really get to know about our data set and get to know about how quickly or how aggressively we are moving towards our goals. So this is kind of a workaround we have done, but not the default one. The default one, if you would go by this, then it comes with some sort of a background which basically says 60% or 80% of the target. So what I meant by that is, so let me try and remove this entire piece and try to do the entire stuff in just one go. So sales forecast, and subcategory. Click on show me and click on bullet graph. So again, the only challenge is that these values is basically not correct. So sales is coming as a tick. So let me try to edit the reference line. So it is saying 60 to 80. Remove all reference line or swap reference line. Alright, now we are good. So with that, what it is, this background is basically explaining that whether it is 60% of the target or 80% of the target, which is like an additional information, because if I right click, the reference line is 60 or 80% of average sales forecast. So with that, you get some additional information when you are interpreting. Sometimes it becomes confusing because generally people used to wonder that what this background really means, why here it is a little bit dark and why here it is a little bit light. So what it really means, so when you hover your mouse over to these background, so it basically says that whether it is 60% or 80% of the average sales forecast for the target. So that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this quick video of how you can create the bullet chart in Tableau, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic. Here we are in Tableau, and within that we want to create an area chart. And as you can see, we have two options of creating an area chart. So first one is area chart continuous. The second option is area chart discrete. So we will talk about area chart continuous in this video. So for that, as it is shown that you need one date and one or more measures and 0 or more dimension. So let's try with the order date, and let's take sales, and let's create the chart. Alright, here we have a very simple area chart, and let's try to make it a little bit more visually appealing by putting segments on colors. Now, as you can see, that consumer is the biggest segment, followed by corporate and then the home office. And if you want, you can display the labels. So for that, you can go over here, take sales and put it on the labels, and the labels will be displayed. As you can see, the size is not enabled because size is default based on the sum of sales that is there. Area size is basically based on that, so that's why it is disabled. But the detail tab and the tooltip is what enabled along with the color. So that's how very easily you can go ahead and create the chart. And if you want, you can basically swap it like this if it is making more sense for you. But generally, people doesn't show it this way because eyes are used to seeing the chart in this way. So, but you have the option available. I just wanted to show you an option, and in certain situation, if it is making sense, then probably you can swap it. But that's a quick video about how you can create the area chart in Tableau, and I'll meet you in the new video, the new topic. Alright, so here we have the box and whisker plot. So let me select measure and let's say 1 dimension to create the box and whisker plot. And here we have the box and whisker plot created very quickly for us. The only thing is that you should have an understanding about how to interpret it, because it has 5 different categories, as you can see in the label, that it has upper whisker, upper hinge, median, lower hinge, lower whisker. So it's nothing but the 5 statistical properties that this chart has, and it helps statisticians to really interpret the data about how the data is skewed, whether right or positive, or on the higher side or on the lower side, so that they can make some assumptions from the data, and which will lead to some inferences. So here I will just talk about how you can make it more meaningful. So for example, this is basically a box and whisker plot for different product subcategories. As you can see, these dots are showing you the different categories along with their sales information. But if you want one box and whisker plot for each category, then you can take this category field and put it under the columns, and now you have 3 beautiful charts for you, which is basically indicating the furniture, office supplies and technology category, and the data points are much better appearing on the box and whisker plot. If you are interested, or if you don't want to basically see these different data points, then what you can do, you can go right click edit, and here click on hide underlying marks. Once you do that, it will be disappeared, because mostly those who are experienced with it generally wants to see the outliers. So if I again right click, go to edit, as you can see, accept outliers. So generally those statisticians basically wants to see whether they have any outlier or not, and looking at just the shape of it, they can very easily figure it out, the distribution of data. Apart from that, you have other options of making labels, size, colors, tooltip, so on and so forth. And the only thing is about changing or doing the little bit of formatting. So for example, if I click here on format and use a different color, very straightforward, you will get the same sort of color here in the box and whisker plot. And you can manage the transparency over here, how transparent it should be, and you have a little bit of styles, modern, glass, classic videos, all of that. And that way you can make your chart more meaningful and better representable for your end users. So that's pretty much all. I will just suggest you to read about the box and whisker plot. If you are really enthusiastic about playing with the data and making inferences by just looking at the data, or identifying outliers and all, if you have that kind of a job, then you should really go and do a little bit of study on the box and whisker plot, and then come back and start creating it here in Tableau and start impressing your users. Alright, that's pretty much all in this video, and I will meet you in the new video, the new topic. So within the show me palette, we will see the circle views over here on the 4th row and the middle tab, or the middle row. And what is needed is basically 1 dimension and 1 measure to create the circle views. So let's go ahead and take our favorite subcategory and sales and drag it down there, and click on circle views. So here it is not the kind of circle views which we would like. Probably what you can do is put subcategory over here, and now it is a much better circle view that is coming. If you are interested in changing the shape of these symbols, then you can go on shape over here and say, let's say solid circle, or maybe diamond kind of shape, or a triangle, whatever shape that is needed, basically best for you. And if you want to fill it by different colors, let's say you want to fill it by the different regions in which this is going on, you can fill it by region, or if you want by customer segment, you can put segment on the color, and then it will show you where the sales are high. That means under which segment the sales are high, and basically show you the information. Next thing you may want to do is changing the size of these shapes based on, let's say, profit. So you put the profit on size, and maybe you can increase the size a little bit so that it is clearly displayed which one is having. So here in this case, corporate tables is basically sales is good, but the profit is really bad. So you may want to look into the segment and see what is really going on. Same is the case over here in consumer segment, bookcases category, not giving you a good profit. But these here, consumer copiers, consumer accessories, and consumer chairs, consumer phones are giving you, some of the good profit, as well as based on the good sales. So that's how very quick and easy it is to go ahead and create the circle views and make it modified based on your parameters that is related to size or color, and make the beautiful chart for your end users. So that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. And within the Show Me tab, here we have the area chart discrete, where you need one date dimension and one or more measures with 0 or more dimensions. So we'll go ahead with one date and one or more measures for a discrete chart. So here we have order date, and let's take profit and sales as our two measures, and let's create side by side area chart. Alright, so as you can see, we have this discrete or the side by side area chart to basically have the area chart more visually appealing, what I would say. And in the previous video we have just seen one area chart, and we made it visually appealing by putting the segment on the color. So let's try to do it over here. So let's select the color. So here the information that we are specifying is basically applied on all of the sections, as it is mentioned over here as all. But if there is a need that one section should follow one particular type of color palette and or based on some field, then you can open this sum of profit or sum of sales and modify only the property related to that section. So that's the flexibility you have. Apart from this, if you want to show the labels, let's say now here in this case, if you want sales to be displayed on both the sections, that's how you will going to do. But generally that's what not we want. We want profit values on profit section and sales value in sales section. Then in this case I will enable profit and put profit over here on the label, and I will enable the sales and put sales on the label, and here I have it. So here we have for 2014, 15, 16, 17, and if we expand this little bit, you get a much better picture of the area chart. Now you have 8 charts, and it's basically we have expanded the year, and the next level of hierarchy is basically quarter. So that's why you are able to see quarterly area chart for both sum, sales and profit. So the idea is just to show you how you can further extend based on the needs that your management may have, and it will probably help them to look into the chart with a better perspective about how the things are moving quarterly, and they can compare both sales and profit side by side along with their values and the customer segment. Alright, so that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this video, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Here we have the line discrete chart, as you can see down there. It requires one date dimension and one or more measures. So let's go ahead and experiment this with the order date, and let's take 2-dimension profit and sales, and let's click over here. Alright, so what we have is basically discrete, in the discrete line chart, basically 2 measures which are shown on a separate section. So generally how I would like to consider is more like a side-by-side bar chart or a side-by-side circle views, if ever. And if I need some sort of expand or I need to expand this a little bit, say for example in each of the year I want to show it for each quarter, I can click it over here. So now the section are going up there, 2014, 15, 16 and 17, and for each of the year here are the quarters that you can display. And this is basically possible because there is a pre-built hierarchy there in the order date. So it's basically within the order date, this is a year which comes by default, but if you go down there you have the option of, when you expand it, you have the option of quarter, month, day, and so on and so forth. So in the case of quarters, you will be seeing that the pill will show you that it is a quarter information, and once you expand a little bit more, it will show you the month. So that's how very easily you can select or you can create the discrete line chart by selecting one date dimension and one measure. Apart from this, the regular operation that you can do on this chart is basically making the size little bit intuitive. Let's say for example based on the discount. So here in this case you have basically 2 cards. One is sum of profit for this particular section, and next cards for sum of sales. So let's say we want to do this for sum of sales. So let me put it over here, and only this information will be changed. So as you can see, wherever the section is getting thicker or the line is getting thicker, that means the more discount, and wherever it is less, that means the less discount. Let's try to apply the same thing on profit and go over size. And here also, as you can see, wherever the section is thicker, that means the more discount, and if it is thinner, then it means less discount. So that's how you can make it more intuitive. Apart from size, what you can do is you can put it on the color, and wherever the color is basically dark, that means more discount, and color is not dark but little bit light, that means the less discount. So that's how you can basically make your chart much more intuitive and meaningful for your end user, so that they have a good understanding about what you are really trying to show on these different sections. So that's pretty much all I have for you in the discrete line chart, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic. So within the show me section here you have the dual combination, and as per the requirement of the chart you need one date dimension and 2 measure at the least, and you can add 0 or more dimension, but that we will see probably later in some other video. But right now let's go ahead with 1 date and 2 measure. Alright, so for that let's select the order date, let's select profit, sales, and create the chart. Alright. So here we have the chart. Here on the y1 axis you have profit, here on the y2 axis you have the sales, and as you can see bars are indicating profit and line will be indicating sales. So but if you want to change it, what you can do is simply you can go in here, and sum of profit you can change it to line, and sum of sales you can change it to bar, and that's how you can make it visually appealing based on your needs. If these bars are looking very thick to you, what you can do is you can go into the basically put it manual and make it thick based on how you want it, and very easily you can do the changes as per your needs. So apart from this, other things are again using the color palette and in both the sections, and making it visually appealing by that, making using the size for basically making the line or the bar thick based on the value of other measures. So for example, if I want discount on sum of profit, you can see that line where the line is thick, it is less discount, and here it is, I'm sorry, the thin, and where the line is thick, then it is basically the more discount. So that's how you can use it, and I have been explaining in my previous video, so it's pretty much the same thing again. And yeah, that's how you can make your chart more visually appealing with the help of both line and bar chart. Generally, this type of chart we show whenever we need to show the let's say forecast, for example. So here we have the sales forecast and then the sales. So now we can compare whether our sales are going up or down based on the sales forecast or not, and that's basically helps us doing the analysis in a much quicker and better way, because you have the visuals in front of you, which is clearly telling where the sales is meeting the forecast and or exceeding or below the forecast. But again, this is also a good representation, because what it is telling you over here is your profit is basically increasing as your sales is also increasing. Alright, that's pretty much all I have for you in this dual combination chart video, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic. So this is the dual line chart, and as you can see, you needed one date and at least two measures to create a dual line chart. So for that, let's select order date, and in the measure, let's select the sales and profit and click over here. Alright, so here we have the line for profit, and here we have the line for sales. So that is basically, profit is shown on the y1 axis and sales is shown on the y2 axis, and that is basically very helpful in knowing whether sales is moving in the direction where profit is moving or vice versa. And once you are done with that, what you can do is you can make it more visually appealing, like I have been showing in the previous videos. So for example, you want to see how you are giving the discount on the sum of sales, then you can put the discount on the size, and as you can see where the line is thick, that means you are giving more discount. And you can verify this on the profit as well by putting discount on the size again, and it's pretty much consistent that when the sales is moving, you are giving high discount. Same is the case with profit, that even though profit is moving up, you are giving the more discount. So that's how you can do this. Apart from this size, let's say you want to make it visually appealing by some color. So maybe here in this case, sum of discount, you want to put it on color. So wherever the color is dark, that means more discount. Wherever the color is light, that means less discount. So that's how you can make your line visually appealing, and you can put labels by putting the field name on labels, and you will get the label displayed over here. So that's pretty much all I have for dual line chart in this video, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic.